on today. It's stuck on 5. Here we go.
Okay.
Can you see the countdown? 3.
No, don't worry.
Hello and welcome. We are live, and I am with Helen Lindop today from helenlindop.com. I'm Tracey-Jane Hughes from businesscheerleadingclub.com. And Helen and I, despite technical difficulties today, which are always sent to try us, we are wanting to talk about email marketing because it's one of those things that a lot of business owners get either caught up in, or I know in the last year people have got really quite sort of either upset about the GDPR aspect of email marketing, or just gone, actually it's too much effort, I just can't do this. So Helen, just tell everybody what you do to start with.
Hi. Nice to see everyone. Yeah, I mean, I've been helping people out with online marketing for a while now, and then I realized I just needed to focus in on something because it's just so big and so overwhelming. And what I chose to focus in on is the part where I think we can make the most difference, but that's quite often overlooked. And that's the sort of the follow-up systems, the follow-up marketing and sales systems that you need for a small business. And often you can automate quite a lot of that without being impersonal. But the amount of tools out there that are available are really overwhelming. And I think, like you said, people are just basically a bit ground down by all that because of GDPR, because we've just been hit by bright, shiny object after bright, shiny object. So it's like, oh, use Facebook, oh, use Twitter, oh, use Instagram. And you just think, I can't do it all. I tell you what, I'll drop the email marketing because that's the one people aren't really talking about. And it's a bit old and it's been around a while. I'll go after the bright, shiny thing that this expert is saying I must use. Yeah. And it's a shame because it's all this background follow-up, possibly slightly uncool or slightly less cool side of marketing is incredibly effective. It's just hardly anyone's really still talking about it. And I just kind of want to get people making more money and having more
success. And that, I mean, that's why people are in business, to to make money, to earn an income. So why is email marketing such a good tool to use, Helen?
Well, I think first of all, it's important to just dispel the myth that email marketing is dead, because that's, I think, what's in people's minds. And evidence for that is that if you think about it, how many times a day do you check your email? I mean, for me, far too many. Loads. And I think the way we check email is different now, because you used to be, oh, it's an email, I'll open it now and read it. Whereas now you get such a lot, you tend to scan, read the subject lines. But if it's important to you, you will still open it and you will still check it on a regular basis. So email is still very much in use and very effective. And also, unlike social media, it's not the answer to everything, of course. But with social media, often the reach is kind of being messed around with behind the scenes. You've got this algorithm, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you're not ultimately in charge of who gets to see the stuff you post. Whereas with email, you've got your list. You can send what you want to them, and providing you back up that list, if anything goes wrong with your email service provider, you just move to another one. It's not like social media where you can get your Facebook group shut for no apparent reason, or your Facebook page taken down, and then it's up to you to fight to get it back. So it's got many benefits above and beyond just using social media. We do still use it. It is still quite an important part of our lives, and it has been for a long time. I'm sure eventually something will take over from email, but at the minute I don't see any signs of it, and it's been around. I think most of us have had email addresses, if we're old enough, cough. We've had email addresses 20 years, haven't we? It's been a regular feature of our lives. So I think we forget that sometimes. And also you can build yourself a list, so you can have all your other online marketing activities feeding into that mailing list, and then you can drop out content at the rate and the type of content you want, whenever you want, providing you're obviously giving value to your readers. And you've got much more control over it than you have with many other online marketing methods.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing with email marketing is it's yours to, you control it. People, customers say, yes, I'm interested in this. Please send me some more information. And they are telling you that they are interested in your product or your service, and they want you to follow up. And, you said it earlier that, you're focusing on the follow-up systems. And a lot of businesses that I work with spend a lot of time getting people interested and getting them to a web page, but then they're not following them up. They're not doing that next step, which I find so fascinating, really. And it's interesting that, you're saying that email marketing isn't used as much as it used to be. And it's almost like, helping businesses to go, these are all parts of a service or parts of a system that you can put in place in your business. And it's probably not too difficult to set up an email marketing system, or, what's your view on that, Helen?
Well, I think, again, there's so much information out there that lots of small businesses have got the impression they need to have this horribly complicated sales funnel system with tons of automation going on. And that's not the best place to start, because it's just too much. It's just too much. And not only that, every time you add in an automation, or let me explain by automation. So you can you send people emails and you can say,
let's start at the start, shall we?
Yeah. If you, when I say automations and complicated things, what I mean is that you send people an email and you say, if you'd like to know more about this, click this link. And then it takes them off on a different sequence of emails. And I mean, that can be incredibly effective, but if you're just starting out, that's too much to get your head around. And you don't know enough about your likes and dislikes of your email readers to make an intelligent decision on it anyway. So what I would say is decide how often you can send an email that is good quality, that is value for people, that is giving people something useful, and you make sure you can do that consistently. So if you decide you can send a good email to your list every 2 weeks, and you can do it consistently, and you can do it over a long period of time, and it's going to be good, pick that frequency, and then decide what your audience would like to read. And then just get some people on the list and send the emails. Just keep it really, really simple. And it's like with most things in business, the sort of consistency and the quality is the most important thing. You can add the bells and whistles later if that's what people want, but maybe they don't even want that at this stage.
Yeah. Okay. So how does somebody get started then, Helen? Because yes, there are some really complex systems out there. Yes, you can send an email direct from your inbox, whatever system you're using, but you're talking about building a list, and that, I imagine, is what you would encourage people to do to make it simpler for them to manage. But how do we just get started?
Right, you need to sign up with an email marketing service, first of all. You need a separate tool to manage this. You don't want to be sending it from your emails, your standard emails, because it's very time-consuming and tedious, and there's a bit of a security risk, and you might get labelled as a spammer as well. So lots of good reasons. Okay. So first of all, you definitely get an email marketing service. There are lots. I would say that most of them out there, or nearly all of them, will do what you need to do on a basic level. Yeah. So just pick one that you like the look of. I know many people start with MailChimp because it's free to start with. Yeah. I've had a lot of people tell me they find MailChimp quite confusing because it will do all the complex stuff and you don't need it to in the early days. So if you look at MailChimp and you just think, oh no, I can't handle this is too much, don't be put off email marketing. There are others, and there are other free ones as well that you don't hear so much about. The Mailer Lite is another one that has a free plan as well. Okay. So it's not that MailChimp is the only one with a free plan if you want to. Okay. That said, I'd be inclined to pay a little bit for a service that you really like rather than just go with one because it's free, because like I said, momentum is important, and if you have a service that's free and you just don't really like, it's going to be hard work.
Yes.
Yeah, so pick the right tool for the job, I would say. And then you really just need a way of getting people on your list, and you need to send regular emails. I mean, it's comes down to that. Just send regular, good quality emails with content that your people want to read.
Yeah. So when you say get people on your list, so in each of these platforms, let's call them, each of the systems will have a way of creating some form of list in there.
Yeah.
And so what you're suggesting is to get people, normally there's a URL, or you have to create a form, and that will have a URL, and that's what you then put onto social media or on your website to get people to sign up. Is that right? Is that the?
You can do that, yeah. I mean, a lot of those email marketing services, they will allow you to set up landing pages, so you don't even need a website for it.
Okay.
So some of them will give you a landing page, and you can set up a little box where they put their email address in and a button that they click to submit it, and they're on the list. So it doesn't have to be difficult. If that's something that you want, then you might want to choose an email marketing provider that does really nice landing pages if you don't have a website set up, because some of them are a bit basic and don't look very nice, and some are better. So there is that. If you have a website, for example, I know a lot of people have WordPress websites. Most of these, they will give you some code that you can copy and paste from the email marketing service, and you paste it into your WordPress site, a page on your WordPress site, and that will make you an opt-in box. So a box with you put your email address in and a submit button. And that's not, I mean, the code, if you don't know much about coding, you'll look at it and go, ugh, but you just need to copy and paste it. You don't need to do anything with that code other than just a straightforward copy and paste. But what I wanted to say is that there's all these ways of getting people on your list online, but what is often overlooked is just ask people. Because if you're out and about, for example, I know a lot of people do craft fairs, art and craft fairs, that sort of thing, training sessions, workshops, anywhere where you're meeting your people. You can just say, would you like to go on, can I put you on my mailing list, and I'll send you some more good stuff that we've just been talking about, or I'll show you, if you're an artist, I'll show you, I send emails about the latest piece of work I'm working on, that sort of thing. And often it's easier if you're just starting out to get people you've met face to face on your list than it is to have to convince them on a web page. And often people overlook that.
So the big question that we get asked is, well, what about this GDPR stuff? Because that's the reason why I'm not doing it, because I don't want to get into trouble. I don't want to get, my business closed down. But I'm not asked to go on my list because I'm just concerned about it. So how do we make our lists and our email marketing GDPR compliant?
Okay, big question, that one, and it's just I mean, I will say I'm not a GDPR expert. This is from my own research. So, but I think first of all you need to look at your business as a whole regarding GDPR. So you need to not just think I'm going to get an email service that's GDPR compliant and I'm going to be fine. You need to just look at your entire business and make sure you're compliant in every different aspect that you have, because so much of it is about like stuff like you've got if you've got a laptop, are you storing client data on your laptop, and that kind of thing, which is nothing to do with email marketing. So look at GDPR as a whole for a start. And if you go to the Information Commissioner's Office website, ICO, they have a lot of information on there for small businesses, so it's worth just browsing through that and just getting familiar. And then once you've looked at that, GDPR really is to catch the big businesses. Now, smaller businesses have to comply with it, But I think that a lot of the fear comes from being slapped with a massive fine. And that's not really very likely for a small business. I mean, Google got slapped with a big fine last week, but we're not Google, are we? We're a different thing entirely. So, I think people are a bit too worried about it, really. Yes. And the ICO last year said they're not going to be slapping small businesses with enormous fines. They're much more likely to say to you, "You're not compliant here. Can you please sort it out?" than they are to give you a big fine.
Yeah. And my understanding is that most of the email marketing platforms and services, they will have a policy, a GDPR policy, or they will have a statement on their website. So if you just check that and check what they will do, then you can be reassured that the platform is doing everything that it needs to do. And then what you need to do personally, like you say, is another story. And I've got other interviews and things that we've talked about GDPR. So if anybody needs help with GDPR as a whole, just ask, because I do have some other training and support on that. But for email marketing, when you are creating a list, so if you are asking somebody at an event or you've met face to face, part of what you need to do is be able to show that they have consented to get this information from you. So if you've just got a sign up form, at your craft fair, at your event, at your networking, and you just need some words on it that say, this is what I'm going to send you information as a follow-up to our conversation today. And you can even have a topic, because sometimes if you're at an event, someone wants information about specific things, and that's, again, it's helpful for you as the stall holder to remind yourself what conversations you've had in that busy day that you've had. So that's my understanding of it. It's twofold. You've got your own personal stuff that you're confirming that person wants information from you, and then your online system will do things automatically. So it will have an unsubscribe button, so people can say, actually, thank you very much for the information, but I've got enough. I don't want any more. And the system will do that. Is that your understanding as well, Helen, of the system?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah. I think one other thing worth mentioning is that one big difference now with email marketing is you used to be able to say, download my free ebook. And then they downloaded their free ebook and kind of, whoops, you're on my email marketing list now, without being very clear about it. And I mean, I think it was always good to tell them and be upfront, but it wasn't a legal requirement. Whereas now you can't say download my ebook and then send them marketing emails, because they haven't consented to having. So you need to either phrase your opt-in page to say, join my newsletter and I'll give you my email. Sorry, I'll join my newsletter and I'll give you my ebook free. Or what some people do is they just suggest people download their ebook, and then on the page that comes up after the download, it says, would you like to join my newsletter list, or words to that effect. So it's a kind of two-step thing. But you've just got to be very clear on what they're signing up for now, whereas you didn't have to be before.
Yeah, and I think that helps you as a business owner as well, isn't it? If you're clear about what you're offering and what you're communicating, then it becomes clear to the customer as well. So they're opting it. You might have 3 or 4 different products or services, and they're quite different. So they're opting into this one because they're interested in that. So it just means that you're not being spammy, by sending them stuff that they don't want to know about. So sorry, Helen.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing with you. Don't worry, carry on.
I had a question before, about email marketing, or it was a comment really. Laura said, I'm thinking I need to set up a regular call to action asking people to sign up for my list. And then she sort of said, well, actually, yes, you're right. I can, ask people at physical events, but is that regular call to action, is that just part of the regular marketing of a business that we was almost like getting too hung up on how we do it, and instead we just need to do it?
I think so, and I think it helps to have a sort of it kind of used to be called a sales funnel, but I prefer to sort of have a call it a customer journey. So if you know how your people become aware of you and how you can gently encourage them to get to know you better, and then at some point you're probably going to ask them if they'd like to sign up to your list, and then once they're on your list, you're going to send them lots of good stuff and let them get to know you and trust you, and then you're going to have a few sales emails in there. So I think it's all about plotting out that journey and knowing the steps along the way where you're going to encourage people to do certain things, or you're going to nudge them down a certain path, and all the while just giving them really good value all the way. So you're not being manipulative. But the online world particularly is such a busy, distracted place now that often people just don't find the next step. You need to kind of say, look, click on this, or would you like to join this, or would you like to sign up for that? Or, you do need to kind of push people gently in the right direction sometimes, because they just don't find the good stuff otherwise.
So again, it's about being clear about what you're wanting that customer to do. So it's that, you probably heard about, or to our listeners, you've probably heard about call to action. So it's about being really clear on a web page, on a landing page, on an email, what is the next step to either get more information, or to book a call, or you're wanting to download the ebook, and actually putting it there in black and white, isn't it, to help them to take that next step. But if we're not clear as a business owner what that next step is, then we can't communicate it to the customer. So again, sometimes I've had clients that they're not clear about what the next step is. They've got all this, or they've got almost like the end product, but and they've got the idea, but it's connecting the two that is the bit that's letting them down. And that's where systems and support services and like the work that you do, Helen, is about putting those almost like steps in place, isn't it, to help that whole process.
Definitely. And I think automating that where you can, but we're at a point where I think people are quite fed up with being over automated. So, you don't want to feel like you're being squeezed through a machine and you're just a number, and someone's trying to extract money from you. But equally, with a small business, you don't have the time to give the personal touch to absolutely everybody at every single step of the journey. So it's a sort of an appropriate level of technology to make people still feel kind of appreciated, but give them the information they need at the right time. Yeah.
So what would be your top tip, Helen, for helping people to get started with email marketing?
I think I've heard lots of reasons why people aren't doing it, or aren't doing it consistently. That's the big thing. And I think you've got to sort of decide, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it a good shot. I'm going to maybe give it 3 months and do a really good, consistent job of it and see what results I get, and then tweak and test after that. Because I think if you put the effort into setting it all up and you send one email and then you kind of get busy and you don't send another one, that's a complete waste of time and effort. I think you've got to carve out the time and carve out the kind of commitment to do a good job for a few months at the very least. And then just watch your statistics, see what people are opening, see what they like, see how they respond. Maybe create a free gift to give away and see if they like that. And just experiment. Take the stats that come out of the system at what people like, and then use that to give them more of what they want, really, and just build on it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Helen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So people can find you and get more support from you at helenlindop.com.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll make sure that all the links for I presume you have, well, you do, because I know I'm on your list. So you do have an email marketing system. So again, I'll make sure that people have the links for that, so that they can learn from you. So we're coming to the end now. we've probably gone over our time, but it's been really valuable. And I think email marketing, that there is so much that you could talk about, and a lot of it is some of the basic understanding your customer and what they're wanting, and then putting that into practice through systems and regular communication with people. So if you've got any questions, then please do contact Helen directly at helenlindop.com, or I'm Tracey-Jane Hughes at businesscheerleadingclub.com, and I help busy, passionate people to grow in confidence and to grow their business in the right way for you. So get in touch if you need any help at all, got any questions, want to find out about, all the different systems or software, then please do just ask. There is a lot out there, and it's about finding the right one for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.